Today I'm happy to have Dr. Nandan Yardi on the show. What happens to the brain when we are sleeping?
Whatever we do during the day, we are using up chemicals in the brain. These chemicals are very important for us to function. You don't get good sleep, you don't feel fresh, you don't want to work as well as when you've had a nice sleep.
Yeah.
So that's the importance of sleep.
Are people sleeping less now, or is it just another health issue that people are attacking?
A lot of people are not able to sleep very well because of the pressures of life. There are a lot of distractions in terms of entertainment, media, and so on. And so that's hogging a lot of time during the day and giving less time for people to sleep.
For those who do not have any pressures of life and cannot sleep,
that's insomnia. There are two types. One is you don't have the sleep onset. You're in bed lying for 2 hours, 3 hours. And the others who can go to sleep will wake up at say 3 a.m. in the morning or something like that. You try sleeping for about 20 minutes. Don't get sleep. Get up, wake up, do something active, and you will start feeling sleepy again.
Deep breathing has helped me.
Pranayam and yoga and all that. So deep breathing, any kind of relaxation, having a good atmosphere. Some people like listening to very soft music. So all those things help you. A lot of students want to stay up at night because they have exams coming and they feel that or even otherwise, some people have the style of studying till 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. What they are essentially doing is they're disrupting their sleep. They're causing poorer memory, poorer brain function, and they probably end up scoring less in the exam.
Today I'm happy to have Dr. Nandan Yardi on the show. This is his second time on the show. He has done there's a previous episode when he talks about neurological diseases and yoga lifestyle. That is in the show notes. The link is there, so do look that up. Today we're going to be talking about sleep, and something that is very important and elusive to many, including myself. We'll find out all about all different types of sleep and what kind of sleep hygiene is important. Dr. Yardi is in addition to being a pediatric neurologist here in Pune, starting an epileptic center. He's also has been a fellow in the American Epileptic Society and much more. So we're very happy to have him. Welcome to the Rita Date Show, where you find information on M&M, mind, nutrition, and movement. Information all backed by science. So Nandan, can you explain from a neurologist's perspective what happens to the brain when we are sleeping?
Okay, that's a very nice question, and sleep is a sort of topic very close to my heart because it's very important for maintenance of the human health. We wake up in the morning and we are doing different activities throughout the day. Some of them are sort of very active, some of them are less active, more sedentary, depending on what profession you are in or what stage of life you are in, whether you're a kid or a teenager or an elderly person or in midlife. But whatever we do during the day, we are using up chemicals in the brain. And these chemicals are very important for us to function. The entire body, every cell in the body requires energy for functioning. Just like you have to put petrol in a vehicle for it to run, we need to have food and different subcategories of food, and these are then broken down in the cell to give energy. And there are small packets within the cell which are energy packets which are broken down to give energy. These energy packets are formed from all the ingredients which we take, and the vitamins and minerals help in this process. So these food packets, when they are broken down, there are certain waste chemicals, let's say, that are released in every cell throughout the body. So also in the brain, right? And when there is a lot of accumulation of waste, then the area or the place where this waste accumulates cannot be used functionally as well as when it is clean. When a particular place is very clean, functioning is better. If there are a lot of junk lying around, functioning, obviously we all know that functioning won't be as smooth as in a very clean place. So the brain has to sort of wash off all this, and that's where sleep comes in. And when you have good sleep, your brain is refreshed in the morning, and all the little wells, let us say, which have these chemicals fill up, having been used throughout the day by us in different activities. So you wake up with all the wells with positive chemicals brimming in the wells, and with a fresh mind. When you don't get good sleep, you don't feel fresh, you don't want to work as well as when you've had a nice sleep.
Yeah.
So that's the importance of sleep. And
Yeah,
this is the most
absolutely.
obvious importance, but there are other subtle things which I will talk about,
Sure.
which are affecting your entire health.
So, sleep has become a big issue for the last 5-10 years, sleep apps, and people are talking about sleep. Are people sleeping less now, or is it just another health issue that people are attacking?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fad now to have sleep devices and talk about sleep, but a lot of people are not able to sleep very well because of the pressures of life. The things have changed. Like I said, in the past, when you had to 9 to 5 jobs and people would come home in the evening, they spend time with their family, much more relaxed. Now people work till much later, and then there is this again, time zone issue. They're working for some company which is on the other side of the globe. So there is a lot of disruption in sleep now. And even for people who are staying in a particular country, in the same place, haven't moved out over years, life has become difficult, and there are a lot of distractions in terms of entertainment, media, and so on. And so that's hogging a lot of time during the day and giving less time for people to sleep.
Yeah.
And that's causing problems.
I have a question. For those who do not have any pressures of life and cannot sleep, like me, for example, I don't have to wake up very early, of course, for exercise, but I put my priority on sleep rather than getting up. But I do have a sleep problem. So any suggestions for
Yeah, I mean,
that?
for people who can't sleep, that's insomnia, there are two types. One is you don't have the sleep onset early. You want to sleep, but you just don't fall asleep. You're in bed, lying for 2 hours, 3 hours in bed, and still not getting sleep. And the others who can go to sleep will wake up at say 3 a.m. in the morning or something like that. They don't know what to do because they can't fall back asleep, right? And some people have both the problems. Those are the worst off because they can only sleep a few hours every night. That really tells on your health, right? So these are the two main issues. So both are dealt with differently.
Okay.
So people who have insomnia, who do not quickly fall asleep, we tell them to avoid stimulants like
Coffee
Coca-Cola, coffee, and these kind of things, which actually play on the chemicals in the brain that allow the brain to remain awake and do not allow the sleep chemicals to set in. And they disrupt what is known as a circadian rhythm. So we all have a rhythm that automatically we wake up when it is light outside, and we start feeling sleepy when it gets dark in the evening. So this was traditionally the humans over the centuries.
Yeah, we didn't have electricity.
Yeah, they didn't have electricity. They would look at the sun in the morning, or bright light, and look at the sun in the morning, which is a very healthy habit actually. We should all first wake up in the morning and look out of the window, or if you can see the sun, or look at the bright morning, and that gives your brain a cue that okay, now it's time that I've woken up and it's a time to remain awake now. Similarly, in the evening when everything is dark, if you have a lot of illumination in the room, very bright lights in your house, especially in your bedroom where you're going to sleep, then that's again giving a wrong cue to your brain. So when it gets dark, certain chemicals are released in the brain, like melatonin, and that melatonin is a natural kind of a hormone or a chemical that is released, which makes the person start feeling sleepy. With bright lights or staying past that circadian rhythm time, so if I have a circadian rhythm time of say, I feel sleepy at around 9 at night, right? So if I every day start staying up till 11 or 11:30 or 12, I'm breaking my circadian rhythm. So even if the chemical is going to be released, I'm going to over sort of rule it and try to stay up. So that disrupts my rhythm. So this should not happen. So no stimulants, no heavy exercise just before sleeping. Because when you do exercise, certain chemicals are released which actually make you aroused and keep you awake. So again, you are sort of disrupting the sleep cue which is coming from a melatonin. And in fact, orexin, which is another chemical, is being liberated, which keeps you awake.
Orexin.
And orexin, there are norepinephrine, there are so many others, you know. And again, it is the stress and the anxiety which can keep you from getting sleep. So try to relax.
Relax, okay.
The 2 hours before sleep, you should sort of tone down your lifestyle, try to be in a good environment, which is quiet, which is slightly not very bright, and then try to get, your brain sort of, the scattering ideas in your brain should be sort of, put to rest. So, you're coming to something like getting a bit sort of running down your activities and becoming quieter to allow you to get sleep.
Okay.
So if you don't do that, if you do that, the people who don't fall asleep early will start falling asleep. Talking about the other people who sleep well but wake up at 3 a.m. So we sometimes do wake up, especially when we are jet lagged, we wake up at 2:33. You come from the US, you wake up at 3, you don't know what to do. And then you try to put yourself to sleep at that time and you don't get sleep. So you lie in bed like that till 5 or 6 in the morning and you end up getting up. So what you should do is, if you try sleeping for about 20 minutes, if you don't get sleep, get up, wake up, do something active, and you will start feeling sleepy again. That is the time to again go back to bed. So between 3 and say 4 or 4:30, you have stayed up doing something very active.
Like read a book or
maybe
clean your,
read a
clean
book,
your closet or something like
something
that.
like that. Some not very exciting activity at that time, but something which is quiet, but your mind is occupied, and anyway you're going to lie in bed not getting sleep. So when you do something, you start feeling sleepy again. That's the time to again go back to bed and you might fall asleep. So this is what you do, right?
Okay. Yeah, deep breathing has helped me. Like,
So
that is,
now from that again we come to something like pranayama and yoga and all that. So deep breathing, any kind of relaxation, having a good atmosphere. Some people like listening to very soft music. So all those things help you.
Yeah.
So you have to
No
create
screens.
an environment.
No screens.
Of course, no screens. People wake up and they get the screens.
They wake up, they sleep with it.
So screens again is a big no-no.
Yeah, I've been stopping that. What do you think of these sleep apps that we have, like on our phones? I have a question. Like, you have REM, you have deep sleep, you have core sleep on that Apple.
So there are several stages. There are several stages of sleep. When we sleep, we are in a wake state. You start getting drowsy, and getting into sleep is stage 1, where your body temperature drops a little, your heart rate drops a little, and you start falling asleep. Immediately from stage 1, you go to stage 2, where you are much more relaxed, your heart is much slower, and stage 2 is a stage of the sleep where you don't have any eye movements.
Okay.
So you can have very slow eye movements at that time, but not rapid. And then from stage 2, you go to stage 3, which is a deep sleep. And the stage 2 and 3 are important for clearing. It's like a washing machine,
Okay.
So whatever soiled linen you have during the day, that gets washed in these stage N2 and N3, we call it. Stage N2 and stage N3, sleep stage 2 and 3. That's when all the soiled linen gets cleaned.
Okay.
And the brain restores. So it restores your memory, it restores your cognition, it restores your brain functioning, it removes all the bad chemicals, it restores all the good chemicals of the brain. So your brain functions much better. A lot of students want to stay up at night because they have exams coming, and they feel that or even otherwise, some people have the style of studying till 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. What they are essentially doing is they're disrupting their sleep. They're causing poorer memory, poorer brain function, and they probably end up scoring less in the exam.
Yeah, but they have these night owls, they call it. They perform better at night.
They have pride in calling themselves night owls.
Oh, so it's just a myth.
It's wrong. It's a myth.
Okay.
So if you sleep 8 hours, if you have full sleep of 8 hours, your brain is in the top functioning category, and you always do better.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So that's very important.
Remember that.
Yeah.
What about REM sleep?
Yeah. So the next stage is then either you wake up or you go into an REM sleep. So you can sometimes wake up from a stage 3 deep sleep, suddenly arousal, but it's a very brief arousal, and then go on to again stage 2, 3 or stage 1, 2, 3. So these are typically about 90-minute cycles.
Okay.
And in the initial part of the sleep, when we fall asleep, we don't have too much of what is known as rapid eye movement sleep. And that is very important because the rapid eye movement is where you get rapid eye movements. You have seen somebody sleeping and the eyes are moving like this and you wonder what's happening. So the person is in rapid eye movement sleep.
So that's good sleep.
That's good sleep because that's the dream state. And what happens is there are certain chemicals which are liberated from the base of the brain and the spinal cord that don't allow your muscles to move. So your muscles are kind of paralyzed in your dreams, so you cannot really enact those dreams. Otherwise, if you had dreams where, say, if I got a dream and I was fighting or punching somebody, I would actually start punching that person if my muscles moved.
Right.
But nature is like this, that when you get dreams, your muscles are actually kind of paralyzed. You know?
Wow. Yeah.
So you don't enact the dreams, right? Which
Yes.
is so phenomenal actually.
Yeah.
And the dreams look real to you and you could actually be doing actions, but you can't do it because you're, like paralyzed. So that's rapid eye movement sleep. The importance of rapid eye movement sleep is that it causes good connections in the brain. It improves whatever learning you have done during the day gets consolidated during rapid eye movement sleep.
Okay.
So it's for students again.
For especially students.
So whatever if you read during the day and sleep well at night, all that gets consolidated into a short-term and eventually a long-term memory.
Okay.
So your memory recall, your everything, cognition, everything improves with rapid eye movement. And if we say that there are 90-minute cycles from the wake, stage 1, stage 2, REM or awakening, so there are in 8 hours you should have about 5 cycles.
Okay.
Right.
So
people who don't have full sleep will not get all these cycles. And in the initial part, normally there's not much of REM sleep. It may be there very brief, but towards the awakening stage, towards the end of the night, early morning.
Yes, I noticed that on my app, my watch.
Yeah, you see that, right? So apps are very good for that.
Okay.
It tells you how you have slept, how you are going through the stages. So the apps are very good. I think I would encourage people to use that.
Yeah, that's the only reason I use, not for the walking or anything.
That's fine, but that's more important than walking. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter if you walk, 5,000 steps or 7,000 steps. But if you look at your sleep on your app, and it gives you very good charts, and it will also tell you now with AI where you're going wrong and what you could improve.
Okay.
Right?
Yes, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Good. So I will continue to use that.
Right.
So how could someone improve, sleep medicines? Lots of people take them.
Right.
There's in India, I think there's Zolfresh, and then there's
a whole lot of them.
Lots of them.
Lots of them.
What's your
We don't
opinion?
encourage anybody to take the medication.
Are they addictive?
They are absolutely addictive.
Okay.
Yeah. So at the most, what we say is no medicines. Try everything else first. The sleep hygiene is most important. We just discussed various stages, and people don't sleep or they wake up in the morning early because of different reasons. Somebody wants to, go up on the hill, wake up at 4:30. You leave there before everybody goes there. I want to be up in the hill first in the morning. There are different reasons why people either don't sleep in the first part or the second part of their sleep. So that sleep hygiene is most important. Creating an environment where you sleep is very important. And I think all of us, whether we are kids or teenagers, the teenagers are most disruptive because they want to have late nights, night outs, alcohol, this, that, so many other things. So all those are disruptive. Alcohol disrupts sleep. It's common for people to think that when I have alcohol,
I sleep better.
I sleep better. So it makes you sleepy to begin with, but it disrupts absolutely this architecture of 5 cycles of 90 minutes each going through all the stages. So somebody who has significant amount or even a small quantity of alcohol can disrupt this architecture, and they will never go on to stage 2, stage 3 sleep, which is deep sleep, and they may never have too much of REM sleep. So their learning will be bad, their rest and sort of reclaiming all the good chemicals is bad, and they don't do very well. And these are the types who will have bad neurodegenerative disorders which might be triggered because of lack of sleep. It can cause diabetes, it can cause heart problems if they don't sleep well, if they have daytime sleepiness. And
I found if you don't sleep, you're hungry. Something is happening to your stomach.
Yeah. You wake up and you want to eat junk food because you go to the refrigerator.
Not just at night, even during the day. Something is happening in the gut-brain connection.
Yeah, it's a connection.
Yeah.
So as I said, all the systems are intertwined with each other, and the sleep is one of the main things that is restorative in terms of health for the body.
Yeah.
in terms of immune, your anxiety, mental status, cognition, intelligence, everything. So sleep again is, I think, and there's a lot of things going to be talked about sleep in the next 20 years.
Okay.
Because the major research is going on in how sleep affects people who have dementia. Now, it's well known that lack of sleep causes dementia. There's a direct connection. And also there is something known as a glymphatic system.
Yes.
The blood vessels in the brain, there are spaces around it, aquapores. And those are the spaces which actually clear all the junk that is, or chemical junk that is in the brain, which we form throughout the day. And when this glymphatic system is affected because of lack of sleep, it doesn't function very well. So then the brain starts collecting beta amyloid. There are various proteins which are all junk material like beta amyloid, tau, then there are some neurofibrillatory tangles and so on, which give, and synuclein. These are all different proteins which we don't need. And if they accumulate, they will clog the brain factory into disruption. And one can get dementia like Alzheimer's, one can get Parkinsonism, one can get other dementia-like disorder which come typically very early with psychiatric manifestations.
Wow.
One can have severe sleep disturbances with different psychiatric outcomes. So sleep is very important, and we will be talking about sleep a lot in the next 20 years, and I hope we can get the population in general to make sure they get 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
And then their remaining 16 hours will be golden for them.
Yeah, reduce the alcohol, especially.
Yes.
It's increased, actually.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
our socialization in India is too much. Our food and late nights.
Right.
I have found, I have decided to keep things earlier, whenever we meet.
Yeah. Everybody should.
Everybody should. And just try to end it sooner. I mean, we can't eat at 11 o'clock and all that. Those.
So as adults, we should know, or even as young adults, we should know that, this, if we start doing it at 60, we have already sort of, disrupted our sleep for so many years, last 15, 20 or 30 years. If people start doing this as young adults, just after teenage, and I would extend it to teenagers, and of course, very importantly, kids. So I think we need to change as a society.
I'm hoping it is happening.
I hope it will.
The wellness movement, there's no alcohol movement, and especially in the UK, but I'm hoping it comes to India.
Yeah.
No alcohol, they have coffee parties instead after running.
Right.
That kind of, exercise, that kind of thing. So let's
See,
hope
in
that
Paris,
happens.
it happened several years back, maybe 15 years back, the bobo culture of Paris. The teenagers would not have drinks. They would have lemon water or some iced tea or something like that. There's a whole group of that bobo who are into art and all kinds of good things, and they don't have alcohol. I mean, this is a message which should go out to our.
What about marijuana?
Oh, marijuana is
because I'm asking because
in
a lot
US,
of the US, they don't drink, but they're smoking.
Yeah. Now, marijuana has got some things which are beneficial for your cognition and stuff, but overall it's an addictive thing. The beneficial part of marijuana is only very little, but the addictive part of marijuana is pretty bad.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not as addictive as some of the other substances which are now sort of rampant, even in India for that matter. Yeah.
Other drugs.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
so drugs is bad in general.
Yes.
Yeah.
So last question. What about yoga during the day? Does that help? What kind of, any specific postures you can recommend?
For sleep, you mean?
For sleep,
yeah,
yes.
Okay. So the best time to do yoga probably for people to get good sleep is about 2 hours before the sleep time.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So that won't count as rigorous exercise.
And that yoga has to be very gentle.
Gentle, okay.
Relaxing. If you do a vigorous yoga just before sleeping, as I said, or any other exercise just before sleeping, it causes more arousal and disrupts your sleep onset, right? Yeah. However, to answer your question, if you did yoga during the day, it also has beneficial effects, right? And of that, again, you have something like, ocean breathing, like Ujjayi pranayam. You can have simple postures. So you can do pranayam for about 20 minutes. Prior to that, you can do a few postures. Very simple, legs on the wall pose.
Parivitra,
So you can do that.
Viprit Karni. Yeah.
Viprit Karni, and you can use props for that. You can use blankets or some kind of rolls to make yourself comfortable, or you just do a simple shavasana, which is the dead man's pose.
It's not a very hard pose. It took
It's
me
a very hard pose,
20 years to actually, I would leave class early because I just didn't, this is a waste of time. But now I understand.
Very important to relax your body, right?
Yeah.
So these two are very important poses, and it takes 10 to 15 minutes of doing this where you first start relaxing, and then you do the pranayam, something like a simple Ujjayi pranayam, where your inspiration is about 4 to 6 seconds, but the expiration is a little longer. So you have to focus on your expiration during this, which lasts about 6 to 8 seconds. So you do this for about 10 to 15 minutes, very slowly. Don't do any of the other pranayams which are more vigorous.
Yes.
Right? And then at the end of it, if you can try Yog Nidra and learn Yog Nidra, that is the ideal thing, where it's a bridge between wakefulness and sleep. Yog Nidra is not actual sleep, but it's just a bridge between the two, where the whole body relaxes. And there are different ways of doing this, because you can they teach you that you should scan your body from the toes upwards and all that, and then go all the way up, and you scan your body, focus on your breathing, make sure that the thoughts are going to come to your mind, right? But you should then, and that's the most important learning, that you should try to get rid of these thoughts as they come, as if the thoughts are not involved with you. You are not involved with those thoughts. You got nothing to do with these thoughts that come, and then you can get that kind of meditative state, which actually is Yog Nidra. So if you can do this about 2 hours before, and then after that, make sure you avoid caffeine, alcohol, bright lights, something which is very exciting and then disrupting this environment which you have already created with that yoga.
Okay.
Right? So that's the ideal thing to do. But if you did this, say, in the morning or in the afternoon, it still helps. There are studies which have shown that it helps.
Yes, Yoga Nidra is just an amazing tool.
Yeah.
So, wow, this was a fascinating conversation about sleep. Now I know how to use my app better, and I know a few more things I should be doing. But thank you.
Even if
Nandan.
somebody didn't have an app, they should just follow these principles and try and sleep.
Absolutely,
An app is not the thing, but if you have an app, and these are easily available with your cell phones and some wearables, you can use them. They are not very expensive now, but if you didn't have it, it doesn't mean anything. You just follow these principles of sleeping, trying to sleep 8 hours, running down your activities towards the couple of hours before you sleep, getting good exercise sometime in the day, at least once, 4 to 5 times a week. And even this yoga thing and all that could be done 4 times a week, 5 times a week. That's good enough, because it really resets your circadian rhythm. And anybody trying it will get benefit within a few weeks of doing it. Right?
Wow, that says it all, guys. Do yoga, sleep properly. So,
and no screens. As little screens as possible. Anyway, a lot of things on the screens is AI, so you don't know what is right and what's wrong. So you're wasting your time.
Yes, yeah. So just cut the screens and go to sleep. Thank you so much, Nandan.
It's a pleasure talking to you. Thanks.